We're on the verge of a new generation of gaming, and with a new generation comes a new excuse to overcharge gamers for a hobby that's been stagnant for decades. And I understand the technology is supposed to be amazing, because apparently SSDs are still considered a new technology even though it's been around for 5 or more years. These things are still too expensive for the size that you get, so because of this, they jack up the prices of the consoles, while also limiting storage. 500 to 800 gigabytes of storage is not a lot. How many games do you think will fit on that? Yeah, sure, you could just plug in an external drive, but then that begs the question of how long will these SSDs in the consoles last? SSD drives have a limited read and write lifespan and will fail eventually. You could also make that argument about mechanical drives, but it's less likely that your typical normal hard drive will fail or corrupt compared to an SSD. But time will tell with that one. I hope to be proven wrong, but even if you do use an external hard drive for a storage device for your games, you will have to still constantly delete and rewrite the games back to the SSD, which is actually harmful to the SSD. So the solution that these companies have created is to buy SSD memory cards that you can buy separately and plug in instead of a mechanical drive. Guess how much these new SSDs are supposed to cost? Over $200. That's nearly the price of the console itself. And if that wasn't bad enough, the games will now cost $70. Are you kidding me here? 60 was enough for me to stop buying games at launch. You can bet 70 will make me stop caring altogether. And so I have. This console generation will be the most expensive yet. $70 games, overpriced memory cards, and on top of that, PS Plus and Xbox Live. Oh, but this is where Microsoft does have a slight advantage now. Game Pass. As much of a scam as I think it is, if you're not into collecting games and don't care about owning the games that you play, the Game Pass deal might be the only way to enjoy these games without having to wait for a sale on them. But you're going to have to pay $180 a year for the privilege. But it is a cost-effective way to try before you buy. So I think Microsoft will really have something here this generation. Sony has a similar deal with the PS Plus collection, but we're still not sure if it's more like Game Pass or more like Nintendo's NES and Super NES offerings on the Switch. But for me, I have already bought most of the games in the collection anyway, and anything I don't have, I could just buy for $10 or $15 anyway when it's on sale. So Sony's offering isn't much of a game changer. Basically, everything is just way too expensive normally, and I don't have $180 a year just to rent games, so I can wait. The launch games will go down in price, and all of the kinks and troubles of launch consoles will hopefully be sorted out by then. Heck, I even thought about just staying on PC, but even there, I'd need to build a whole new PC since my motherboard and CPU will just bottleneck the new GPUs that are coming from Nvidia and AMD. So I'm at a crossroads. Do I spend all of this money on an overpriced hobby, or do I save it and wait until the cost goes down? That first day hype is very real, but I think I'll sit this gen out for the first year, until the dust settles. I mean, it's not like it's going to be easy to get a launch console or a graphics card anytime soon if these stupid scalpers get their way. And besides, the launch lineup isn't the best right now. Spider-Man Miles Morales is the only game I do want, and that's still coming to PS4 anyway. Or maybe I'll just get an Xbox Series S and a Game Pass. It seems like the cheapest way of getting into this gen at the moment. And I'd be able to have some content for the channel finally. I think this is what Microsoft was counting on. We'll see if their strategy works in the long run. But what about you guys? Are you getting a new console or updating your PC? What are your thoughts about the next generation? Leave a comment below. I'd really like to hear what you have to say. Until next time.